Hello, YouTube. It is Friday, January 6th, 2023, 2:10 in the morning. I just said it was 2023, which has me wondering how many vlogs since the new year I've said the year wrong. I'm sure I've done it at least once. It always seems to take me a while to get the year right whenever I'm saying it or writing down in a new year. Anyway, what the hell am I doing it? 2:11 in the morning. That's a good question. I'm driving over to Priscilla's house. I'm not really enthusiastic about it. I'm really close to just rolling over and going back to sleep. I did kind of make plans to join her in her place this evening after she got off work. But I also specifically
but for 3 years, no conservative group was approved.
Apparently that guy thinks that's a parking spot.
If you can't get incorporated, tax number for a non-profit group, you can't get a bank account.
I also had specifically asked her to come by my place and wake me up after on her way home from work. That I would be really tired and probably would be asleep, so come wake me up, which is pretty much code for come join me, wake me up with some bedroom fun. So I am motivated to actually want to go with you, because otherwise, because lately, like, you have absolutely zero sex drive, and just there's no you're not like putting that out there for me, and I just have absolutely zero motivation to want to spend time with you. As a result, I'm kind of more thinking, with what little bit of time that I have off work, I should spend that time looking for that elsewhere, since not happening with her. I mean, I didn't say that, but you think she could put two and two together. Anyhow, she's had her friend April's over there. So I don't know what's going to be happening, or if anything's going to be happening intimate. I mean, am I heading over to have a threesome, or am I heading over to be a third wheel? I think it's more likely than not the latter. I don't know. She said she's made dinner for me, so I'm probably going to eat and just bounce. Who knows? Maybe I'll go looking for companionship on 27th Avenue, because that's about where I'm at. Not physically, I mean where I'm at mentally and emotionally, and in terms of genuine sexual frustration. At this point, with all the money I'm making overtime, it's probably more cost effective for me to pay for that anyway. But I digress. I did spend some time with one of my coworkers that I don't know. I can't say I'm romantically interested in her. I mean, I'm thinking maybe something will happen. I'd be lying if I didn't say that. But I don't particularly find her attractive. She just barely crosses the threshold of I do her. Which sounds like such an absolutely mean thing to say as I say it, but just keeping it real. In fact, looking at her, I had kind of assumed she was older than me, and then she told me her age, and she's a little less than a decade younger than me. So, which kind of goes to why and she's a white woman, so it kind of goes to why I don't really find white women attractive, or at least in this instance. anyway, yeah, I offered her a ride home after I actually sat in well, guy riding a bicycle with absolutely no lights and no reflectors. That's insane. I don't know. I was going into more detail as what happened with her, but I'm almost to where I'm going, so I need to wrap this up. But maybe I'll explain about my morning with my coworker in the next video. I mean, absolutely nothing intimate happened, and I almost totaled my car while she was in it, so she probably never wants to go for a ride with me again. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Thanks for coming with me on this quick drive. And welcome back, YouTube. It's still in the wee hours, Friday morning, January 6, 2023. Voice in the back of my head was saying 2022, but it is 2023. It's a new year. 4:11 a.m. Yeah, it was no point in even staying at Priscilla's place. She fell asleep on the couch, fully clothed. Yeah. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, fuck. I just realized I left my work bag with my safety vest and my ID, work ID there. God damn it. I brought that because I was thinking about, I figured at some point we'd, end up in bed together, and I'd probably stay the night there and maybe stay the day and head to work from there. But God damn it. Debating as to whether I should just go home and get some rest and try to connect with her in the morning, or whether I should try to wake her up and get my stuff. I'm just gonna go home. I've got a spare work ID at home, I guess, if I don't get a hold of her in the daytime. And I've got other safety vests. I can always get new gloves in the PP machine. In fact, the night I did TDR last week in inbound fluid, right at the end of the night I lost one of my gloves. So my last shift I did with only my right glove, so I guess I gotta get new gloves anyway. It's just frustrating. I hate it when I lose my gloves before I fully wear them out, and then of course I have to have a new pair of gloves for a few days that don't feel right. Whoa.
Will flood, drugstores will close, basic necessities will close down, and the fire department will be awfully busy doing rescues. So you're kind of on your own. You have to figure it out.
In Santa Cruz County, officials reported significant damage.
Wow, I wish I'd have caught what was going into that. Whoever they were just talking to on the radio is from Guerneville, California. I actually lived in Guerneville, California for a short time. That's a really small, isolated, random kind of place. It's in Sonoma County along the Russian River, about halfway between Santa Rosa and about halfway between Santa Rosa and the Pacific Ocean. Grandmother had a house there. Actually, my grandparents had a house there. I lived with them when I used to go there and visit. From the time my grandfather started building the house up until the time that when I actually went there and lived with my grandparents for a short period of time, my grandfather was in late stages of Alzheimer's, so it was kind of an awkward and difficult time. And kind of looking back on it now, I almost regret that I left when I did, because it might have been better if I'd have stayed there, maybe helped my grandmother with my grandfather. and maybe then might have actually ended up in my grandmother's will. I ended up chasing after my dream of being a famous radio personality, and went to Laramie to work overnights at KRQU, and ended up pretty much losing touch with my grandparents, who like they died before I ever got to see them again. If memory serves, I don't recall seeing them again after that. Of course, my life took some crazy twists and turns since then, but as for the house, I think absolutely everything that my grandmother had, she left to her only son, my Uncle Floyd, whom I've also not seen since I was a child, who died last year. God knows who he willed all his stuff to. I don't know. I don't recall if he had any kids or not. Anyway, wow. And all it took was somebody on the radio saying that they were talking to somebody in Guerneville to bring all that unpleasantness back into my head. A crappy morning. So, April hung out for a while. We watched most of the Weird Al movie, which is pretty entertaining. Apparently it's an exclusive to some Roku streaming service, which means that I won't be able to actually buy it, which sucks. I hate that there are things that are just simply not available on physical media, because I like to own my media, and that's something I've got an extensive Weird Al collection. That's something I would absolutely love to own, but apparently I can't. I don't know, maybe I can get somebody that can download it for me so I can actually have a file of it, because I'm not signing up for any kind of Roku streaming crap, and I would at some point probably like to see the rest of it. I ended up leaving because, like I said, Priscilla fell asleep fully clothed on the couch without showing any physical interest in me whatsoever. In fact, I think she, while I was there, showed more physical interest and intimacy with April than she did with me, which I guess shouldn't surprise me, you know. I mean, Priscilla was pretty open with me that she was bi when I met her, and she's often talked about the girlfriend that she had a long-term relationship and lived with, and still apparently talks to every now and then in Atlanta when she was in her 20s or whatever. Yeah, so I don't know if anything's happening with her and April. Probably not. I mean, April went home before I did. Of course, April and her husband just split up, so that's kind of awkward, because I was sort of friends with both of them. I should text April and see if she's still awake. And thoroughly complicate my life. I don't know. All in all, it makes for a fucking lonely morning, and now I'm extra frustrated because the shit I need for work is at Priscilla's place. And of course, I don't have a key.